Alright, so this is going to be a bit of a longer video. I found out today that the drug that they prescribed me is essentially meant for other purposes. These other purposes, oddly enough, don't really bother me so much, but what does bother me is the fact that it was misrepresented. Anywho, that's the first thought. The next thought is, I've said before how our education system literally teaches us to be retarded. People get pissed off at me when I say that because they don't like the word retarded. What they don't understand is this is the exact thing that I'm talking about. Nobody's paying attention to the simple fact that trying to redefine words because they were used in hurtful manners by so many people for so long because they were themselves retarded isn't helping anything. Retardation. This is a process of slowing down. This is a process of lack of something somewhere. So when somebody's in some form of retardation, that could be emotionally, that could be mentally, that could be physically, that could be so many different things. And everyone is retarded in one shape, way, or fashion. So when I say retarded, don't take it offensively. Start thinking about how I'm saying you're retarded. Seriously, it's as simple as that. I'm definitely retarded in many fashions because I don't get along with people very well. And, well, because I use words like that, and I use them in the appropriate fashion instead of the retarded fashion. Okay, enough of the joke. I really, really, really wish I could get more people to see not me, but what I'm trying to represent. I have always tried to be completely honest, but people don't see me as being honest because they redefine the words that I use. You can't use words to define anything because we don't know enough of our existence to be able to define anything. This sounds like circular logic, but if you pay attention to what I'm saying, it holds a lot of truth. Now, continuing on, if we are retarding ourselves in so many different ways, including spiritually. And I blast religion all the time because religion is retarding our spirituality. There are things that can be found in any number of texts that are very good. I mean, we are living in a fractal universe. So everything is literally just a fashion or a form of whatever we decide it is. You're not recognizing how much power you're losing by simply rejecting the things around you. The Bible is an amazing book if you don't get burrowed into all the fine print text. You don't need to memorize the Bible front to back. I did have it memorized at one point. Unfortunately, my mind is pretty much gone with that. What I can tell you is there are two lines of logic that run through the entire Bible. And if you figure out that the one line is a lie, then you figure out what is the truth within it. Now, I'll give you a good head start, because 99% of the Bible is bullshit. And I say that coming from the perspective of they were assembled works from other religions that were assembled in Nicaea by Pharisees and Romans, who were in the very book itself the two major factions that had Jesus Christ killed. So you're going to believe the enemy's words about who Jesus Christ was, who didn't even have that name. Let me give you a little heads up. JC, that goes for a few things, and in that time period, you're thinking Julius Caesar. Now, stack on top of that the whole plan of putting the Bible together by the Roman emperor was to try to prove that the Roman emperor was the risen Christ. Okay, so there's point number 2. The point number 3, once you start getting into this is a sin, you've already lost half of the Bible. Jesus Christ struck all that out. It's all bullshit. There's one commandment, and one commandment alone. Love one another. That's it. Now, if you're so busy hating yourself that you can't figure out how to love yourself, you'll never be able to love someone else. It's an impossibility. It can't be done. You cannot give love to somebody else that you can't give to yourself. There is so much psychology plastered throughout the Bible today that people don't realize just how often a scripture is skipped repeatedly in sermons and all that, simply because it would raise too many questions. Now, this is actually a Roman Catholic practice that is passed down through all the Christian churches. So what happens if you start including those scriptures and actually look into what those scriptures are saying? You get a whole different picture. That means that everybody that's sitting there fighting for God is just a bunch of fools. God doesn't need your fighting for him. And actually, I'm going to go as far as saying God doesn't need you fighting for it. Because God is not a him or a she. God is all the genders, including ones we've never even heard of. I mean, imagine if our race had 3 sexes. Gee, many Christmas. Can you imagine how long we'd still be stuck in wars? We seem to find reasons to fight each other, and it doesn't make any sense. We want to get pissed off. And I know I get pissed off all the time, but Jesus fucking Christ. This is madness, the way we're doing things. We're focusing on how to exclude things that God created because they exist, therefore God created them. And yes, I'm including homosexuality because you see it in 99% of all the animal kingdom. And it seems to represent itself most in places where populations are too large. Oh, so much for that being a Christian thing, huh? Stop excluding anything. There is a time and place for everything. This is stated multiple times in the Bible. Nobody wants to look at that fact. What is it that Christ said in the Bible? Focus on that. Now look outside the Bible, because the Bible is not God's only word. That was started with the Roman Catholic Church so that they could start conquering. And guess what? All the other books that go along with the same kind of line sprung from the same tree. Everybody hating each other because they want to exclude something because they feel superior. This is madness. We're all supposed to be brothers. We're all children of God. We all have the same power Christ had. Christ said that himself. And he said that there would be people working the same miracles he did and more. This is the last days, people. It's time to wake the fuck up. Everything we've been doing is bass-ackwards. You know, nobody's allowed to speak freely because there's so many things that can be taken in a wrong fashion because nobody's paying attention to what words actually mean. They're paying attention to what words have been intended to mean because people are so evil to each other. And the Bible gives them permission to be so, as long as you do it in the proper fashion. You see how they flipped that one, right? There's just so much running through my mind right now. It's craziness. I mean, think of this real quick. If God created literally everything, what does God have to be jealous of? God owns it all. Whether you want God to or not, it's just a matter of fact. It's like saying the hydrogen and oxygen molecules that are in water to make a water molecule. Okay, well, that needs to be separated. Well, what happens then? Oops, boom. Stop separating yourselves. Find reasons to come together because that's where the life is. And guess what? That goes beyond our planet. And if any of you fools think that there aren't aliens, you're crazier than I am. Billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of stars out there. How many do you think actually have planets going around them? Do you really think it's a very small fraction of percentage? Because I can pretty much guarantee that every single one of them stars out there has at least one orbiting object that can hold life, especially when you start looking at how life can extend beyond what we define life to be. Start using words as descriptors. You'll be much more successful. You'll understand more. You'll know more. Okay, that's just my rant for now. I'm going way beyond what I normally do. Love, peace, and hair grease. Rising Angel, signing out.